Hey guys, we are here to write the last body paragraph of our American Revolution essay. We've written body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and now we are all the way on body paragraph 3. You had a lesson on the Bill of Rights, understanding what it is, and in this paragraph your only goal is to explain what the Bill of Rights is, why it was included along with the Constitution as some of the rules for running our country, and some of the important parts. So first, what is it? The Bill of Rights is a list of rights that everybody should have. The people who formed the government said everybody should have these basic things. Everybody. So I'm going to start with that. And if you look at what I wrote here, I want to talk about a couple things. First is, what is a right? A right is something that people have the idea that it would be good if all people got during their life. So maybe all people should have the right to improve their life, right? That's just something good that people should all have, even if they don't actually all have it. Another example of right might be freedom of speech. It would be good if all people were allowed to say what they thought was true, right? Not do whatever they want, but it's okay to say what you need to say. Those are examples of rights. They're things that ideally, in a perfect world, all people are born getting the chance to do or have. So the Bill of Rights is a list of those things. And if you look where I wrote men right here, women played a role, but mostly it was men who organized our government, not because they were more able, but because they were the only ones who were allowed to, or who were put in a position to organize it. So that's kind of a tough thing to do, to define a right, but I'm going to give my best shot. So this is my best shot at explaining what a right is. A right is not something that you have, like an object, like a home or money, but it's an opportunity. Like, you should have the chance to improve your life. So people shouldn't be able to judge you by your skin color or your gender and say, oh, you have this color skin, or oh, you are female, you're a woman, you don't get to do these things. Rights are that all people should have these things. Or you can't say that you can't say what you think. Like, it's not okay to criticize this person because he's the president. You should be free to say those things. So those are rights. They're not things you can necessarily hold in your hand. They're freedoms that you should have. Okay, they're not really objects. They're opportunities. You could also, instead of opportunities, you could say they're freedoms. But a freedom. They're freedoms that all people should have. So I'll let you kind of decide what word you want and how you want to say that. So that's what the Bill of Rights is. The big question is, why was it in the Constitution? Why was it included as part of the Constitution? Why was it added on? The reason is the founders, the people who started our government, were worried that the president or Congress would make laws to hurt people. They would say, okay, people who are part of this religion, we don't like this religion. You get to have a slightly worse life, because that had happened to people in England and other countries. They were also worried that they would make a law like it's not okay to criticize the president. So if you have a president who's doing a really bad job, people should be able to say so. But in a lot of countries and places, there were kings who had made laws saying you can't say bad things about the king. So that's kind of why they had it, is they were worried the government would take away people's rights in order to keep their power. Ensure means to make sure. So they were really worried that the government would make laws that would help people in the government do whatever they wanted, or the government would make laws that helped whoever was running it stay in power, even if they were doing a bad job or hurting people. So they got that Bill of Rights to make sure the government couldn't make laws or do things that took away freedoms they thought all people should have. And they made a list of those, and that list is the Bill of Rights. What are some of the most important rights? I'd like you just to put one or two. I'm going to talk about some of mine. One important right is the freedom of speech. And if you need to go back and see those rights, look at that last lesson where you have an included sheet that has all the rights in simple terms. This is important because another important right is freedom of religion. In a lot of countries and nations around the world at this time, the government had one religion that it considered sort of the true main religion. And if you weren't part of that religion, you tended to get less rights and have a worse life. It was used as a way to discriminate or hurt certain groups of people. So I think it's a big deal that they got rid of that. And they said government and religion are different things. Religion is part of your own personal life. It is not part of running the country. And along with that, they said you are free to be part of any religion you want. The government's not going to sit here and value one religion over your other. That's your personal choice. Now, that doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. If your religion says you can do something that breaks a law, you'll still get punished for that, but you're welcome to keep your religion. And now this still seems like a big deal, but at the time our country was formed, this was a huge deal. Again, almost every nation on earth, the government had a religion that was part of it, or the government was part of a religion. And that was a big way people were discriminated against. If you weren't part of that group in power, your life was generally worse. And that's even one of the main reasons that people left England to come to America and make their own country. So I want to go ahead and review our whole paragraph. The Bill of Rights is a list of rights that the men who organized our government thought everyone should have. A right is something that all people should have during their life, not an object, but a freedom or opportunity, like the chance to improve your life or the ability to say what you think without being punished. The Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution to ensure that the government didn't take people's freedoms by making laws that helped the government do whatever it wanted. One important right is the freedom of speech. This is important because it gives people the ability to say something if a person in power is doing something wrong. Another important right is freedom of religion. This meant that the government couldn't treat some groups of people worse because of their religion. It didn't mean that you could break a law because you thought your religion said it was okay, but it did mean that what you believed was separate from how you were treated by the government. Now, other important rights you could put in might be the right to a fair trial. So if you broke a law, the government couldn't just give you a really severe punishment or an unfair trial because they didn't like you. Everybody gets a fair trial. Another important right is that trial is in public, so trials can't be secret. That way they can see that your trial's fair. So there's a lot of different rights for you to choose from in there. I want you to choose one or two that you think are important to you. So again, in this paragraph, I just want to know what the Bill of Rights is and some parts of it that you think are important. And that's it. Bye.